My grandfather owned a bakery in Puerto Rico and made the most amazing breads, jelly rolls, and donuts on the planet. I, however, did not inherit the baking gene, but I do appreciate that baking teaches you life lessons far beyond the kitchen. First, I got out all my ingredients, trying to do my best to do so from memory. From this, I give you lesson number 1. Don't make things harder on yourself than they need to be. It's okay to use recipes, it's okay to reach out for help, and don't be ashamed to say I need a little support. Here I am again, from memory, starting to dump dry ingredients into the biggest measuring cup I own. Now, a seasoned baker, get it? Seasoned baker? Would know that with baking, this isn't the best way to do it. So now we move on to lesson number 2. There's more than one way to get to the end result you desire. Should I have sifted all the dry ingredients and left the sugar aside? Yes, of course. But I'm not going to quit here, so I decided let's just keep moving forward, and the future will tell us if this was a good idea. Now on to the butter. Cold butter is the dumbest thing on the planet to work with. I'll just say that first. Which brings me to lesson number 3. You are less likely to make mistakes and less likely to have headaches and issues that are dumb if you prepare ahead of time. I didn't do any research into the appropriate attachment for this stupid mixer, so this butter did not go down without a fight. I should have researched the best way to soften butter and what attachments to use. Basically, you need to look into what resources you have and how best to use them so that you're efficient and effective and don't have to pull out your hair like I did today. This also gives us lesson number 4. Have patience. Did I need to struggle this much to soften butter? No. Turns out, if I would have had a little patience, I could have just let the butter hang out on the counter for a little while, get to room temperature, and done all of this with a fork and saved myself a few headaches and some dishes. Patient people are calmer, happier, and more relaxed when they're at work and when they're at home. This is where I started to get confused while I was baking. Remember when I said earlier that I tried to do this from memory? Well, here comes lesson number 5. Had I been thoughtful, I would have realized that my recipe is missing 2 key things. It's missing an egg and vanilla extract. Thoughtful people are often very aware of how pieces are interconnected and what they need to make something come together. Everything has a purpose and a direction. No lesson here other than to slow down and you won't make a big mess. I also should have just done this part by hand, but again, no patience existed in the making of these stupid sugar cookies. Now comes my favorite part. As I begin to roll the little jerks together, I realize my perfection gene has kicked in, and so comes lesson number 6 to yell at me. Perfection does not exist. Could I have spent a million years of my life weighing each cookie and making sure that they were absolutely perfect and take forever to get this done? Yes, but was that necessary to complete my mission? No. It would have been inefficient, and I would have lost my joy for what I was doing. Perfection isn't real, but excellence is. While the cookies I made with hate at this point are baking, I decided it's a good time to clean the kitchen and throw together a few lessons about being thoughtful and patient so that future me is happy and the kitchen is clean and ready to go for the next time I decide to come back in here, if I ever come back in here again. Cookies are done, and again, patience completely evades me. I attempt to take the cookies off the sheet way too soon, so I almost break one apart. I thankfully stopped myself and said, let me focus on the next thing. You may have caught this earlier. What happened to all the dough? Hello, lesson number 7. It's okay to say enough is enough. Instead of making a million dumb sugar cookies, I made just a few and wrapped up the rest of the dough to place in the freezer, where current me says, I'll make cookies again in the future, but secretly I know I'm going to forget that it's in there. You're allowed to tap out. You're allowed to say I've done enough. You're allowed to say I don't want to continue. This is your ride and you're in control. Finally, we're ready for the best part and the most important lesson. I wanted to capture a beautiful shot of plating these cookies, but what I got instead was lesson number 8. Change is okay and expected. We had a cookie thief, and that's okay. Instead of having this perfect image, I get to laugh with my family and see that they love the cookies. Our plans don't always work out the way that we want it to, and that's okay. Something better is always just around the corner.